Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. What an amazing set of results. I'm going to give you some results in a moment from today's trades and Robinhood earnings, a great beat on Robinhood earnings. So welcome everybody. We're going to be covering the earnings in half an hour. But also thank you to Vaz for a great show.
Good morning, good afternoon, good
thank
evening,
you very
and
much.
welcome
I've got
to
some
Martyn
audio
Lucas
bleed.
Investor. What an amazing set.
Get rid of that. Okay. I want to thank Vaz for a great show earlier on with his EVTOL show. I hope you enjoyed that. Lots more of that. Of course, every Saturday he has his breakfast show as well, 7:30 Central, 1:30 in the UK. Make sure that you tune into that. But Robinhood is a beat on earnings, a nice beat. If we scroll down, you can see the beat. It's a very nice beat indeed. Not its greatest beat, but a very comfortable beat. They're in the money now. This is consistently now Robinhood making money. Rates being up today means they're earning money on margin. So it's all good for Robinhood. A lot of people will be buying in on this news today, even though there was a dip, and I'll talk about that dip in a moment. Estimated was 34 cents, actual 42. Very comfortable beat, nice, a bigger margin than last time, which is what it's all about. We're growing nicely. All right, now once we get everybody in, I will give you the update on today's trades, where we are. There's some great results. We're a bit quiet on numbers at the moment because I'm live a few minutes earlier, I think, so it's caught a few people out. But I want to share with you the trades I did today and where we are at. So some really good results. Everyone tap the like button. Let me know you're here. It'd be great to have you tap the likes. If you tap the like button, it will share it out to more people. All right, tap the like button. That would be fantastic. Have you all done that? Share this out. We've only got 19 likes. What's going on? Tap the like button, share it out, and consider subscribing as well. We are approaching 100,000 subscribers. Let me show you where we are now. We've had a bit of a dip today with XRP and Bitcoin. Here is my position, 93,354. Absolutely great. What a great day on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Thank you ever so much, everybody who has been part of this journey. Big party coming up when we get there. All right, now then, for those of you who've been following the trades all day, we've been live all day with you. We covered the FOMC report. I've got all the news for Robinhood. I'm going to bring it to you in a second. But what we've got here is the results of my trades. You've been following throughout the day what I've been doing. Now, let me go over here and show you. We were trading the FOMC report. We got very, very, very close to selling our Coca-Cola, which we've been doing backwards and forwards to go back into the S&P. Unfortunately, the market has turned bullish, extra bullish in tech because of the earnings. So it's gone up, and Coca-Cola defensive has gone down. That will reverse, of course, throughout the night. I'll get it, no question about it. It'll go back up, and I'll buy back the S&P, no question. But either way, if it takes me 3 weeks, I'll get the $400 dividends. So you might say, well, in that case, then you missed buying the S&P 500 on that dip, didn't you? Nope, I didn't. So I went over to my main account on the brokerage account, and I bought exactly there. Exactly there. I bought that dip there, and I'm up. So 41 trades and 40 wins now. I bought that dip right at the bottom, and I'll show you, because that price was, if we go to VU, how do you do? If we go to VU, and that price was around about the 580. 580 was that dip. Let me just show you on the screen just so you can see. Around about 580. That's where I bought it. I'll show you again. Right, 580. It's now 585. It was a whole percent swing. So what did I do? Let me scroll down here and I'll show you what I did. I went down, let me have a look, and there you go, 581.24, 10 shares. So I've got more shares. I use margin. That's absolutely fine. On a reaction like that, there was no reason why the market sold off. It's just what the market does. It just gives you free shares if you're ready for it. And I bought them, another 10 shares, and we're up. So that was a good move. I'm very, very happy with that. So we've got more shares now than ever, and we are approaching another all-time high. We're just about an all-time high on the S&P. So even though I haven't managed to trade my Coca-Cola trade, I've still benefited from it going down. That's the benefit of having two accounts. So now 263 was our all-time high. Today, 262. We're just under at the moment, even though we've rallied back. I've lost it on the on the main account by $400. But the fact I bought another $5,000 of shares, it shows you actually I'm hardly down at all. Once the Coca-Cola comes back up again and I get back in the S&P, I will once again set another all-time high. So very, very nice indeed. All right, there you go. So, but we're not focusing on that right now. We've got it'll probably happen during the night. The S&P will trim off after Microsoft earnings tonight. They've beaten as well, and it'll go into Coca-Cola. That is a great dip now. You'll be able to buy that and do it all over again. So I'm just going to leave that, but what I am going to do is bring Robinhood on the screen because we've got 28 minutes before the call begins, and we'll get on to the news of Robinhood. So let's come to comments and questions. Hello, folks. How you doing? Best XRP purchase ever. Yeah. Did we have a dip today? XRP, I said it was a dip. It was definitely a buy. I gave it on the screen and said, that's a buy. It was 6% down. You've made 3% in about an hour. That was a great buy. Unquestionably, I didn't do it. I've got enough XRP. That wasn't right for me, but I can see it was a good trade. I told everybody that was a good position, and well done. You've made a good return there. Congratulations. Hi there, Stephen Lewandowski. How are you, mate? Ninja Cowboy, hello. Dynamite Power, hello to you. Matthew, nice to have you here. Hell yeah, brother. Great. Dipping now. Robinhood, these guys know how to innovate. They certainly do. Saab, we missed you today on the call. Very sad not to have you on the call with us today. Meta up 8.87 on earnings beat. Wow, fantastic. Great stuff. Can't wait to get the Robinhood cards still on the wait list. Anybody have luck with those? Yes, Donda. I have my gold card. I have the solid gold card because I referred so many people. They sent me a solid gold credit card. Would you like to see it? Would you like to see it? Here we go. This is the Robinhood gold card. This isn't the gold plastic one. This is the solid gold credit card. It comes in a wallet like this. This belongs to Sensei now. Sensei bought it from me. I sold it to Sensei. He likes gold. I've got no use for a solid gold card. I use the app on the phone. It comes in a wallet like this. And if I take it out, this is solid gold. You see there, look. That isn't gold. That isn't gold plastic. That's actually solid gold credit card. And I got that by referring a number of people and all the rest of it. So there you go. You can see on the screen, if you see closely, I'll do a zoom in. Just there. There you go. Can you see it says org 79. Is it 79? Org 79. That is the solid gold symbol. There you go. I won't show you the back because it will show you my details, but there you go. So yes, the gold cards are out now, and if you refer 10 people and they go gold for 3 months, then you get one of these. And if you don't if there's not any available, they send you the equivalent in value of gold, which is about $2,000 now. So that card is worth about $2,000 in cash. Sensei bought it for $1,500. He did very, very well, didn't he? And I'm always annoyed about it. Hang on a second. Let me just move this. That's better. That's been annoying me for days. There we go. Just realign myself. Okay, so can't wait to get the card. Good luck to you. Congratulations. Hood is good. Robinhood's a beat. Yes, it is. Thank you, Stephen. Good to have you here. Hello, everyone. I only have 17.89 shares of Hood. Got in late. Average price of 81 79, but I'm in and I'm holding those for quite a few years to come. Need Enphase to stop selling off. Yes, indeed. Enphase is a very sad story, but it's not really. It's a sleeper stock now because until legislation changes, no one knows what to do with it. So it's only going to go up. I think. I don't see anything wrong with that. Just got our patience. Nice. I have been on waiting list for a while, hoping to get mine soon. Awesome. Saab, how you doing? That's not what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting on the bank card. You mean that the bank accounts? Yes, they're bringing bank accounts out. I'm looking forward to that. I wish to replace my Bank of America. So yeah, looking forward to that. That's not, yes. I'm also on the waiting list. I've been on there for a minute. That's a nice card indeed. Well, it's of no use to me because you can't walk around with a solid gold credit card, can you? So I sold it to Sensei for 3 shares of the S&P. And I'm just, waiting to give it to him. All right, back to Robinhood and back to the overall portfolio. I bought that dip a few moments ago. My trade, the crypto trade, was a given for the XRP. That was a 3% gain. Very easy to make that. And we're waiting on Robinhood. We've got 20 minutes to go. Coca-Cola is still selling down. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to wait for it to rally up back again. And if it doesn't, it makes no odds because the dividend will compensate me anyway. Just got to hold it for 3 weeks. Yestin Win is here. How you doing? I have the gold card, but not the solid gold card. Yeah, when you get the solid gold card, you don't get a plastic one as well. So I just use the app. I don't have a card. I don't carry a solid gold card around. It seems a bit daft. But anyway, I have the gold card, but not the solid one. I walk around. I would walk around with the card like having a gold chain on, and I wouldn't take it anywhere. No, it's exactly. It served no purpose to me, so that's why I sold it. I don't need gold and jewelry. I don't wear jewelry. It's not for me. I used to, but I kind of got fed up with it. Anyway, yeah, I'm on the wait list also. Hi, Martin. Mike, how are you, mate? How are you indeed? Overall portfolio is up. 262. Our all-time high today was made at 263. We're just off that, even though we're back up here and we bought more shares and we've just made some money. It was a great trade. I bought it at 280. We went to 285 on VU. So I made $25 on that in like seconds. It was nice. But what's bringing me down at the moment is my Roth IRA. We are down today a couple $100. We're waiting for the Coca-Cola to go back up again. And it will do. Probably go up tonight during the night. So Robinhood, a few minutes ago, this is the screen that we've got at the moment. In exactly 6 minutes, this will refresh. They're playing me soft background music right now. They were. There it is. Shooby-doo. They all play this music. They all share this music with you. But in exactly 6 minutes, they will go and you'll get an upgraded screen. But for now, that's what we're working with at the moment. So Robinhood, we're waiting for it to upgrade. So while we wait, let's go through all our positions. The FOMC report today was an interesting one. We didn't get a rate cut, sadly, but it just means it's coming. And the longer it takes, the greater will be the gift. That's the way I see it. The longer that we wait, the more we can invest, the more we can buy, the longer it takes, the better it will be when it comes here. So it doesn't really matter. As long as you stay in the game, keep investing, good things will come to those who wait. That's the nature of the game. So let's go through all our positions. You can see the overall portfolio is... Oh, that's it. Yeah, I'm up. It's partly off the screen now because we're into after hours. But yeah, there we go. That's just partly off the screen. But we're up 0.27. The S&P 500 you can see is up 0.42. I bought that dip today. Very happy I did that. Virgin Galactic is down but going up after hours. Palantir, 159. This was $19, folks. And I said it was too expensive at 80. It's doubled since then. No one seems to care how much they pay for this stock. I don't know what to say about it. It's not how I invest because I just couldn't sleep at night knowing I own something over 1,000 times earnings. It's just ridiculous. But no one seems to care. They just keep buying it. And it's like a crypto coin. The more it goes up, the more people buy it, the more it goes up. It's a bubble. And it's a great business. But when it's 1,000 times earnings, who can buy it for that? I don't know. I can't. I won't buy it. And I wish everyone the best of luck. But to me, that is gambling to an extreme. Gold is going down. That's a good sign. Uncertainty was taken away today. The market got what it expected. It's business as usual. It's not what people wanted, but it's business as usual. The market went down. We bought the dip and whatever. We haven't traded the Roth IRA yet. We're still waiting on it. We're up 0.25% on the S&P and we're down 0.78 on Coca-Cola. So I'm not going to sell for a loss. There's no point. I just wait 3 weeks for the dividends and then I'll sell and buy the S&P. Either way around, makes no odds. Amazon up 2.15 and trimming back. Apple is down today. Enphase Energy, a good buy in my opinion. Coca-Cola, you can see it. There it is, down 0.16. J&J, defensive's going down because tech is doing well. It will reverse. It's just a matter of time. Oil's going down. Tesla's going down. McDonald's is flat right now. Google is flat today. Microsoft had a wonderful earnings tonight, 549. Look at that. One of the main parts of the S&P 500. No surprise the S&P didn't jump. But I know from experience, Microsoft, that will sell off. You will definitely be able to buy that back cheaper. Definitely. I've seen it so many times over the last 4 years. I'm pleased. It's great, but it will trim off. It's good because it means the company is solid and doing well, but now people will take profit. And during the night, maybe about 7, 8 o'clock tonight, maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's when I often get a message from the Bank of America. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I wouldn't be surprised if this sells off. I can buy my Coca-Cola, sell my Coca-Cola and buy back the S&P. It's just a matter of time. Just got to wait. It will come. Nvidia, 180. Our price target was $200 within 10 months, about 3 months ago. So we are on track for that as well. Walmart is going down because staples sell when tech goes up. Tilray, it's a nothing stock really, in my opinion. Robinhood, we're covering the earnings. Robinhood, we got 15 minutes to go. In 1 minute from now, this screen will refresh. This screen here will refresh in exactly 45 seconds from now. So I'll come on to that in a second. Watch the clock. IonQ is too expensive. It's down. Rocket Lab is up today. That also is too expensive. Plug Power, I don't see any value there. Bitcoin is down 0.8. XRP is down 0.54. Great opportunity to buy it today at $3. No question about it. I didn't buy it. I've got enough. I don't need to. I'm only giving it away in competitions anyway. So here we go. 15 seconds to go and I'll refresh this screen and you'll get Robinhood's presentation in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And wait a second and refresh and it should be there now. No, it's not. Come on. 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 You always refresh on the quarter of the hour. They always do. Why haven't they done that tonight? All right, I'll double check that. They always do. I've never had one that doesn't go on the second. Let me try this. Oh, I can see they're loading the files. That's why it's doing this. Yeah. There'll be a few seconds delay. Robinhood now do their presentation live. You may have seen it. They do a presentation now and that consequently means that they've got to manually do this, and they haven't done it yet. So I'll keep that there. It doesn't matter anyway. We'll come to it in a minute. Just spoiled my little game. I like to catch it exactly on the second. Never mind. Right. Let me go to comments and questions. How many people are watching? We had over 1,000 votes today for our pause. It was 44%. And that's what it was. Close that now. I don't need that anymore. A little bit of, while we're waiting, a little bit of an exciting thing today. Live on the show today, we had a special little moment. Some of you missed it. We had a massive, great, big superstar on YouTube stream our show. 3T Warrior Academy with 241,000 subscribers, 250,000 subscribers. As much as I have in my portfolio, we have here as a channel. And people said, he's streaming your show today. And he's streaming your show. And he was saying hello to me. And he was saying, you know, the show's great and everything like that. So I thought, well, I'll join in. And I did the same thing. I shared back. And what do you get? They invited me on the show. It's nice, isn't it? 250,000 subscribers. Very, very nice indeed. So how about it? That was nice. All right, we've got 12 minutes to go. Vaz is telling me that Trump is speaking, so let me have a look where he's speaking. He's not speaking on Bloomberg. He's not speaking on Sky. Is he speaking on CNBC? Let me have a little look. What does he have to say? Yes, he is. Here's Trump. Here we go as we wait for the call to begin.
Which everyone is always concerned about. I'm less concerned than anybody. I say whatever it is. But people are very, very concerned about the personal records. They want to keep them very quiet, and that's their choice. I think it's a great thing because it'll be absolutely quiet. Instead, doctors and patients will always remain in control. The benefits to millions of Americans will be enormous. We will save time, we will save money, and most importantly, we'll save lives. It's just going to make people live longer and be a lot healthier. I think that's really what you're looking to do. And now I'd like to ask Secretary Kennedy to say a few words, followed by David Sachs, Dr. Oz, and Amy Gleason. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I just want to begin by making a comment that is irrelevant to what we're gathered here today to talk about. But I've been coming to this building for 65 years, and I have to say that it's never looked better. I've spent some time in the Oval Office, which really it's been transformed. And I was looking at a picture of the Oval Office the other day when I was there, when I was a kid.
Robinhood earnings in 10 minutes. Please stand by.
You know, it was an extraordinary, it's always an extraordinary.
We are covering Robinhood earnings.
Sacred space. But I have to say that it looked kind of drab in the pictures. And they were black and white pictures, but it looked drab. And it looks the opposite of drab today. And I think, I know all these portraits, I hope you get a chance to look at them when you go out there, that they were handpicked for the president. And many of them hijacked from other agencies that were trying to keep them. But I mean, you know, my uncle and my aunt, Jackie, who were deeply committed to design, to beauty, and who understood that it's important to have our public buildings be beautiful because it inspires us, it elevates the human spirit. It's one of the, it is a template, and it's an example, an exemplar for democracy. The
Robinhood earnings coming up in just 9 minutes. Stand by.
And this building of all buildings should look beautiful. And under your stewardship, it looks extraordinary today. So thank you, Mr. President, for that. About 3 weeks ago, I met with the Indonesian health minister. And Indonesia today is regarded as the highest flourishing nation on earth. Since 1990, it has increased the lifespan of its women by 8 years, of its men by 9 years. There's no country that has a record like that. And there are two major innovations that allowed them to achieve that extraordinary outcome. And one of those was to disincentivize people from eating processed foods. Oh, you are paid not to eat processed foods, and you are penalized for eating processed foods. The other innovation that really transformed Indonesia was
Robinhood earnings in 8 minutes. Standby.
He showed me the app that they use that everybody in Indonesia has. And it shows your height, your weight, your blood type, your BMI, your cardiac markers, your diabetes markers, your cholesterol, and any kind of individualized treatments that you've had. So if you go to a doctor in another town, he doesn't do what we have to do here, which is to sit there with a clipboard and a fax machine in order to get your health records. It's available, and it allows them to give better treatment, but it also allows you to make better choices over your life. And there's other apps like Yaka in Indonesia that allow you to choose good foods when you go to the grocery store. So you can turn your app on your phone and you can get full information of those foods. Well, now if you have your medical records, you can get personalized advice. And that app will also give you advice about a better alternative. So we're going to be able to, we met, Dr. Oz and I met with the former Prime Minister Rudd of Australia just after the election during the transition phase. And he, after
Robinhood earnings in 7 minutes. Standby.
He ran a commission to reorganize the Australian health system, and they revolutionized it, and they vastly improved health in Australia. And he said the single thing that he did that was most important to that transformation was the transparency that occurs when people control their own health records, because it gives people the choice over their own health decisions and over their own lives, and it gives them a sense of responsibility and allows them to measure the interventions if they change their diet, if they change their exercise. It can show you how many steps you took today. It can tell you if your glucose is spiking. And all of that information will now be available to American citizens. 60 years ago today, we passed Medicaid and Medicare in this country.
Robinhood earnings just
CEOs in this room.
6 minutes away.
Extraordinary companies, some of which the president
You are in the right
mentioned,
place.
and have all agreed voluntarily to start sharing information. President Trump, during his first term, passed the interoperability rule. And it was intended to do this. For 20 years, the federal government has been trying to do this. Everybody recognizes it's absolutely critical innovation for us advancing the health of American citizens, to give them responsibility and to give them control over their own healthcare choices. But unfortunately, you ran out of time the last time around. President Trump gave us instructions that he wanted this to happen within 6 months. We barely made it under the wire thanks to Dr. Oz's leadership. And within 6 months, every American's going to be doing it thanks to the cooperation of the corporate leaders in this room. You know, about
Robinhood earnings, 5 minutes. Standby.
And I asked them to voluntarily come forward and get rid of food dyes, of the 9 synthetic petroleum dyes. And this is something, again, the government, Democrats and Republicans have been trying to do for 20 years. And the industry came forward, and now 40% of the food industry in this country has taken the pledge to remove food dyes from all of their foods. That happened because of your leadership, Mr. President. A month ago, we got, after a lot of work by Chris Klump and Dr. Oz and a lot of other people in our agency, we got all the insurance executives.
4.5 minutes for Robinhood. Standby. You are in the right place.
And agree to get rid of pre-authorization for 80% of the DSM codes. This is a voluntary agreement. 80% of the industry has now agreed to do that. So this is happening because of good leadership. President Trump, you've asked us to think big. You've inspired us to dream big. And you've enabled us to accomplish things that no other president has been able to do. So I want to thank you for your leadership, for allowing this to happen. And
3.5
your
minutes.
Leadership, we're going to make America healthy again. Now I want to introduce my friend, my colleague, the crypto czar, the acting administrator of Doge, David Sachs.
Thank you, Secretary Kennedy. I recently got a text message from a friend whose wife has been suffering from a chronic illness for something like a decade, and they've been trying to figure out what it is. They've never been able to figure it out.
3 minutes
I just
to
want to
go.
read this to you right off my phone. He said, I uploaded my wife's blood work into one of our leading AI engines on Friday. It essentially diagnosed her as having a rare genetic defect that causes bone marrow failure. It's caused every single thing that's happened to her. She has every single symptom. It started at exactly at the same age of presentation. It's 10 people out of 1 million. There's absolutely no way this is not it. So, wow, it's really an incredible example of what AI is already able to do just today, and we're just getting started. And this was one person putting his wife's data in one of our consumer AI apps, and he's already been able to get that diagnosis, and that's going to help them tremendously. The key is the unlocking of the data, because the more data that AI has, the better it performs. And so, kudos to Dr. Oz and Secretary Kennedy for this pledge today.
We're going to have to come off this now because it's 2 minutes before we go into Robinhood earnings. So,
to agree to unlock
unfortunately,
their
we'll have to end this now. We are here for the Robinhood earnings.
And
sorry about that, but we'll have to carry on now with the Robinhood earnings. Thank you, team Vaz, for letting me know that was on. Okay, here we go. The Robinhood earnings is now there. Here we go. It's counting down. It will be on time. They've got a very precise call now. 2 minutes to go, as you can see. Spot on timing. Thank you, Robinhood. If you've just tuned in, please tap the like button. Consider subscribing. I've got a great story here in the newsletter for Robinhood. This is a big one for Robinhood. If you've not yet seen it, I'm going to give you the newsletter. You can get a free version of this. You can enter our $1,000 cash giveaway, XRP giveaway, and which is martynlucas.com/giveaway, and you can win tickets to enter the giveaway just by getting our free newsletter. Amazing, right? It's all free to enter, no purchase necessary. Okay, so we're just seconds away from Robinhood. There's my portfolio. I just bought that dip of the S&P 500 and we're up on it. Very, very happy. Crypto, you've missed that opportunity to buy XRP at $3. It went down 6%. I gave the call. We were at an all-time high. I'm just slightly off because of my Roth IRA. I'm just waiting for my Coca-Cola to go back up and then I can sell it to get back into the S&P, which I will be able to do today, I'm sure. It's just a matter of time. Right, we got 1 minute to go before we start the call. Hopefully they'll be on time. I'm very excited to hear from Vlad Tenev on Robinhood. So here we go. 55 seconds. Is everybody ready? Fredo, Crypto Czar, yes. Is Robinhood a buy tomorrow, guys? I can't pay this price now. It's now overbought. The right time to buy this was $8, not now. Thought it was already out though. No. The results are, and they've beaten. This is the presentation, Rob. Liked, thank you very much indeed. I'm not educated on Robinhood earnings and what they mean. Well, that's why you're here, and we all learn together. Right. So, are you ready? 20 seconds to go. Robinhood earnings. Stand by. Okay, here we go. I'm just muting the music. Let's see if they're on time. Stand by.
Thank you to everyone for joining Robinhood's Q2 2025 earnings call. Live stream at home or here with us in person. With us today are Chairman and CEO Vlad Tenev, CFO Jason Warnick, and VP of Corporate Finance and Investor Relations Chris Cagle. Vlad and Jason will offer opening remarks and then open the call to Q&A. During the Q&A portion of the call, we will answer questions from institutional research analysts, and we will also answer questions from finance content creators who may hold an ownership position in Robinhood. As a reminder, today's call will contain forward-looking statements. Actual results could differ materially from our current expectations, and we may not provide updates unless legally required. Potential risk factors that could cause differences, including regulatory developments that we continue to monitor, are described in the press release we issued today, the earnings presentation, and in our SEC filings, all of which can be found at investors.robinhood.com. Today's discussion will also include non-GAAP financial measures. Reconciliations to the GAAP measures we consider most directly comparable can be found in the earnings presentation. With that, please welcome Vlad and Jason.
Thank you. All right. Greetings and salutations. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Vlad.
It's great to see everyone today. We're actually back in New York City at the NASDAQ where we had Investor Day in December. I see some familiar faces. Also great to have institutional analysts and some finance content creators. I see some finance content creators as well with us today. So,
why am I not there then?
Robinhood live audience for the first time, always innovating across every aspect.
We
of
cover
the business.
Robinhood more than anyone.
And
That's a fact.
Exception, right? So let's get right into it. Second quarter, I think we really kept raising the bar with industry-leading product velocity across our three focus areas. Number one in active traders, number one in wallet share for the next generation, and the number one global financial ecosystem. So why don't we dive in a little bit? Our active trader offering just keeps leveling up. Record trading volumes in Q2 across equities, options, prediction markets, index options, and futures. And by the way, pretty awesome that index options volumes grew 60% from Q1. And event contracts more than doubled from Q1 to nearly $1 billion in Q2. I think these results were driven by relentless innovation, including in Q2, new tooling capabilities for mobile, Legend, the team's rapidly shipping updates, Cortex for Gold members, starting with Stock Digest, which have been used by hundreds of thousands of our customers. And the best is yet to come. After 3 great product events so far this year, we're hosting the second annual Hood Summit for active traders. That's going to be an event in Las Vegas in just a few weeks. And it's going to be much bigger than last year. Last year's event was pretty big, but this one should be twice as big. So that's very exciting.
I've got a Vegas show.
We're also working to serve
far
more
for that?
of our customers' assets, which have doubled year over year to more than $250 billion. How amazing is that? A few highlights there. Average assets per funded customer was over $10,000 for the first time, nearly doubling from a year ago. So a lot of people thought, Robinhood's always going to be in the low single-digit thousands per account, but we just keep compounding, and that assets per customer keeps marching upward. Robinhood Strategies, we've grown that by multiples, now over 100,000 funded customers and over $500 million in assets. So just a few months after launch there. We've tripled Robinhood Gold cardholders year to date, so over 300,000 cardholders. We continue to like what we're seeing, and we're going to keep accelerating the rollout from here. Retirement assets are now over $20 billion in assets. So this is customers entrusting us with their most long-term serious money, and that's more than doubled in the past year. And we're excited to launch Robinhood Banking in the fall, so customers can bring even more of their assets.
Can't wait for that.
Now, actually, with banking, we just rolled this out internally to the full employee base. It's really good. I think we're putting the finishing touches on it. I think you're really going to like it, and very, very innovative offering. So plenty more there. Global financial ecosystem, we've been pushing even harder there. So I'm sure many of you saw our crypto event in France to catch a token. We expanded our European offering to 30 countries, serving over 400 million people, including stock tokens, which I think tokenization is the biggest innovation in capital markets in over a decade. Stock tokens will do for stocks what stablecoin did for fiat currencies. Benefits to users, including 24/7 trading, instant settlement, the power of self-custody, and also gives us the ability to expand to other assets, make all sorts of assets that previously weren't inaccessible to retail, tradable 24/7, just like any crypto asset. So that includes, of course, private markets and lots of other real-world assets. Perpetual futures coming soon in Europe, and that's been very, very well received actually when we announced that. So very excited to roll that out. The US is not far behind. Ton of legislative progress. You guys know the Genius Act just passed. We've launched staking in the US with over 750 million staked in just the first month. So pretty incredible progress for staking in the US. Bitstamp exchange by Robinhood, that acquisition closed, so we now have a growing institutional business, and we think that's gonna be a big one over time. And of course, the Robinhood chain. To my knowledge, the first layer 2 blockchain that's optimized and built with real world assets in mind. So wrapping it up, as a result of this strong product velocity, great business results, revenues up 45% year over year to nearly $1 billion, the third highest quarter of net deposits ever, 6th straight quarter over 10 billion actually for net deposits. And that's continued through July. The strong July for net deposits puts us on track to exceed last year's total, which was 50 billion in net deposits, which was again a record. Gold subscribers up to a record 3.5 million. The Gold team's been doing a very, very nice job. That's 13% adoption when you look at our overall customer base. But if you look at new customers that joined in quarter, north of 35% adoption. So that's been really good to see. And we now have over 600,000 international customers when you fold in the customers we get via Bitstamp. So that's becoming a bigger and bigger part of the business. So we feel great about Q2 product velocity and results. I'll turn it over to you, Jason, to talk about financials before taking some Q&A.
Sounds good. Thanks, Vlad. Q2 was another great quarter as we drove market share gains, closed the acquisition of Bitstamp, and remained disciplined on expenses. As a result, we grew revenues 45% year over year, drove 81% incremental adjusted EBITDA margins, and doubled EPS from a year ago. Let's take a closer look at Q2 compared to last year. Revenues were $989 million. It's driven by strong year-over-year business growth. Trading volumes were up double to triple digits across all categories. Looking at some of our newer products, Q2 contract volumes were 11 million for futures, 17 million for index options, and nearly 1 billion for prediction markets. So a lot of good momentum there on the new products. Interest earning assets were up over 50%, driven by cash sweep, margin, and strong securities lending activity. And it's great to see our gold cash sweep balances have crossed 30 billion, up more than 10 times since we started the high yield offer less than 3 years ago. And for Robinhood Gold, we grew it to 3.5 million subscribers. That's up over 75% year over year as we continue to broaden the value proposition. We also stayed disciplined on expenses in Q2. Adjusted OpEx and SBC was up just 6% year over year, leading to 56% adjusted EBITDA margins. Now for Bitstamp, as I've said previously, we expect about $65 million of costs in 2025. So we're layering that on to our full year outlook for adjusted OpEx and SBC, bringing it to 2.15 to 2.25 billion. As a reminder, this outlook does not include costs from our anticipated acquisition of WonderFi or provisions for credit losses. As we enter Q3, we're off to a fast start in July. Net deposits are around 6 billion. It's a really nice pickup from May and June. Equity and options trading volumes are setting new monthly records. And crypto volumes for both Robinhood and for Bitstamp are at 6-month highs. So really great start to Q3. And we continue to see customers responding to our great margin rates, with margin balances now around 11 billion. So our momentum is strong entering the second half of the year, and we remain focused on driving another year of profitable growth in 2025. With that, Chris, let's turn to Q&A.
All right. Thank you, Jason. For the Q&A session, we'll start by answering 2 top questions from shareholders on Say Technologies, ranked by number of votes. We passed over questions that we already addressed on this call or in prior quarters and grouped together questions that shared a common theme. After the Say questions, we'll turn to questions from our live audience. All right, so the first question is from Tarun K, who asks, when will Robinhood Banking be broadly available to customers?
Awesome. Yeah, I'll field that one. Thanks for the question, Tarun. As a reminder, we announced Robinhood Banking at our Lost City of Gold event in San Francisco a couple months ago. And the idea behind Robinhood Banking, which is what inspired us to create this product, was that we wanted to deliver the private banking experience, which has typically been a high net worth experience, in digital form to the mass market. And so you have the best of private banking, which is high yield, things like estate planning, seamless integration between all of your other accounts, really nice net worth tracking, along with some innovative features like cash delivery, which actually we've started testing and piloting in the initial markets. So as I mentioned earlier, we've rolled that out internally, Robinhood Banking. It's making good progress. It's looking really, really good. And it's still on track for rollout to customers later in the quarter.
All right. Thank you, Vlad. The next question is from Lewis H., who asks, does Robinhood have plans to step more heavily into lending, such as personal loans, auto loans, mortgages, and other products?
I'll start, and Vlad, feel free to jump in. As we've said over time, we want to be the place to custody all of our customers' assets and process all of their financial transactions. And I think lending plays right into this. You may have seen that through a partnership with Sage Home Loans, Gold members now have access to really great rates on mortgages. And one of the reasons they're able to deliver such great rates, and we're able to deliver such great rates to customers, is we're passing all of our share of that of the economics on to customers. And the early feedback has just been really tremendous. So if you're looking to buy a home loan, please become a Gold member and check out the rates. We're also already providing some forms of credit. We've got the Gold card. Vlad mentioned 300,000 card holders. We have margin, and over time, we've got pretty big ambitions across all transaction types.
All right. Thank you, Jason. All right, so we're going to now go to questions from our live audience, and we're going to start with Steven Chubak from Wolf Securities. Let's get him a mic.
Jason, Vlad, thanks so much for hosting this event.
Steven, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Maybe just to start on net deposit momentum, because in the second quarter, we did see a bit of a moderation. I know Steve Quirk spoke to some adjustments to promotional activity. You launched some promotions again alongside the crypto event, and then we're seeing a reacceleration in net deposits in July. And wanted to get a better sense as to how the strategy is evolving around net deposits and promotional activity more specifically, and given the attractive payback economics, why not lean into promotional activity a bit more? Why retrench or pull back any of the promotions at all?
Yeah, do you want me to? I'll go ahead and...
Yeah, why don't you take it?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. So first of all, we love the promotions, and what's great is customers love these promotions. As you mentioned, the economics are incredibly compelling. And when we launch these promotions, we tend to see larger balances from customers come in, and that's showing up in our overall averages. Promotions are part of our playbook. We intend to continue to do it. We measure the economics on all of these promotions, and we watch the customer response. We had a really good promotion around crypto deposits where the community reached the goal, and we doubled the match rate to 2%. So, really good opportunity there. I wouldn't read too much into the activity of promotions in Q2. Like I said, it's part of our playbook, and we really like that.
Yeah, maybe I would just say two things. One is net deposits as a metric does have some volatility that's driven by traders. So, if the market is moving in crypto or in other asset classes in a particular direction, traders deposit money to take advantage of those opportunities, buy the dip, so forth. So there is a component that's going to fluctuate up and down. But if you look over the long run and you sort of like smooth out the inter-quarter, the trajectory for net deposits in this business has been quite strong. And I think if I look at the tailwinds coming up, continued customer engagement, growth in new products, expansion into banking, and all these new asset classes that are just ramping, all of that we believe will make the long-term trend of net deposits grow. And I think we're in a position where we've gotten more sophisticated about how we look at all marketing activities, and we're increasingly looking at these promotions alongside performance marketing and our other tools in one bucket. And I think we're fortunate to just see high ROI opportunities across the board. So we've scaled marketing quite a bit already this year, and it's been looking good. So we have to balance scaling it with making sure that we keep costs in line and we deliver that profitable growth that the team's been doing such a good job in delivering.
All right. Thank you, Vlad. Thank you, Jason. All right, the next question is from Dan Dolev from Mizuho.
Thanks, guys.
Dan.
Amazing quarter, as always. And so my question is more broader. You had this really nice event in the south of France recently, and can you maybe talk a little bit about the long-term strategic opportunities with private, tokenization of private assets and some of the feedback you're getting from the market on all these great announcements that you've had just 20 days ago or so? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the To Catch a Token event, I'd say it exceeded our expectations. I think for an event in Europe to have it watched 25 million plus times. I mean, we were just talking about we were just talking a little bit earlier. That's more than many movies, right? So I think the team did a very, very nice job. I think it did two things. One is it was sort of a blueprint to the rest of the world of what can happen when you have clear regulatory clarity around crypto assets. And what's going to happen is a lot of the criticisms about crypto assets being sort of not tied to anything of fundamental value or mostly, meme-based goes away because you can actually tie the technology to things that have fundamental utility. We've seen that a little bit with stablecoin in the US, and I think tokenization of real-world assets just extends that concept. We've delivered it for exposure to public equities in Europe, but we've also demonstrated it with private stocks in Europe in the form of the giveaway. And I think the reception to that was very positive. I mean, it's clear customers want this. They not only want it in Europe, but they want it in the US as well. And I think it's currently a big problem, a big iniquity that more and more companies are staying private longer, and a lot of the big gains are reserved to private investors that are high net worth or institutional. So we are working to not just create a giveaway, but to turn this into a real product that's usable both in the EU and in the US. And we're excited to do that. I think we see a path to actually make that happen. Well, yeah, I think two things: demonstrate the power of crypto technology and show a roadmap to what Robinhood could be if it was rebuilt from the ground up on crypto rails. And I think there's a ton of benefits there, and also solve some pain points for European customers. And I think since that event, we've seen an acceleration in our European business, and we think we see a path to that being a bigger and bigger piece of Robinhood over time.
I think the event also was a nice highlight to our product velocity. We've had a number of pretty successful customer events this year. In September, we have one for active traders, Hood Summit, but really proud of the team for how quickly we're building.
All right. Thank you. The next question is from Ed Engel at Compass Point.
Hey, thanks for taking the question. We've seen a couple more fintech companies start to apply for with the OCC for banking licenses. Curious whether your mindset has changed on that, especially just given some of the recent rollouts you've had on the banking side.
Yeah, maybe I'll field that. Feel free to jump in. I would say, first of all, we're always looking at the landscape and sort of like making decisions about where we see opportunities. You might remember 2019, we applied for a national bank charter with the OCC, and the impetus for that was we wanted to get into high yield products to allow customers to generate more yield on their cash. And what we found was we were at this interesting inflection point where the partnership ecosystem around banking improved to the point where you could produce an even better savings product, the partnership route. And you could see that not just with the yield, but also the multiplicative FDIC protection. So by partnering with banks and creating this FDIC product, we could actually offer you a very high yield and multiples of the FDIC protection. And Jason mentioned that's grown to over 30 billion in our cash sweep. So that's been very, very successful. And now with our partnership with Coastal through Robinhood Banking, we're going to be able to offer a very competitive rate on actual savings accounts as well as checking. So basically, we found that thus far, we've had all the capabilities available through the partnership model. And so the kind of cons have outweighed the pros of getting a charter. But we're always open to reevaluating it if the balance shifts and there's something that's much easier to do with the banking charter, especially as we get into more of these lending products. We're nimble and we can reevaluate quickly.
All right. Now let's take a question from one of our finance content creators, Amit from Amit Is Investing.
All right.
That could be me.
Jason.
Finance content creator. Good to see you.
You've got
Congrats
no idea.
on a great quarter, and congrats on innovating on the live
He has
event
to wear a
experience for
baseball
earnings.
cap.
Currently, right now, you guys have about 3.5 million gold subscribers, which seems to be the least cyclical part of the business because it's reoccurring SaaS revenues on that yearly subscription. More broadly, how are you guys thinking of protecting the business from cyclicality in the face of market volatility, rate cuts leading to a loss of net interest income, and anything else that could keep that type of growth going as sustainable as possible, given one of the biggest criticisms I've heard is that Robinhood is a very cyclical business?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, compared to just a few years ago, Amit, we're far more diversified. If you take just even the crypto business, that's diversifying. We launched a number of products. Staking in the U.S. is now taking off. Tokenization of U.S. equities in international locations. But that what we're seeing in crypto is happening across our business. And you've heard me say that we have 9 businesses with over $100 million of revenue, and we have a number of businesses that have a lot of momentum towards being the 10th and beyond. The other thing that I would say about kind of in the topic of like protecting your business against cyclical movements, well, really two things. The first is
Robinhood
that the way
referrals
we
in
manage our
the
business,
chat,
we talk about
Robinhood
being
UK
lean and
and
disciplined,
Robinhood US
positions us in
free stocks.
in a place where
You win free
when
stocks by using my
cyclicality
referral.
hits, we aren't like some companies that really have to pull big on levers because all along we've been disciplined. And you saw that we grew revenues 45% year over year, and adjusted OPEX plus SBC was up 6%. And so it's really kind of shining through, and I think it positions us in a position of strength should those kinds of situations happen. The other thing that I would say is I would caution us from not overreacting. to those situations. The market opportunity and the TAM that we talked about in this venue back in December is massive. We have a massive TAM ahead of us, and I wouldn't want to over rotate in a moment of cyclicality when the market opportunity in front of us is so big.
Yeah, and I would just add that, I think that was a legitimate criticism of the business in 2021 when we went public. I mean, it was just a retail boom driven by multiple things, including zero interest rates. We've been able to diversify our business in a high rate environment, and we've been talking about the natural hedge of as rates go up, interest income goes up, but transaction revenue goes down. So we've been able to drive these results in what's been historically still a pretty high rate environment. And 9 business lines with 100 million
I
or
bought
more
that dip on my main account.
Annual revenue, and we've got some that
10
are on
shares.
deck in kind of the 50
Congratulations.
million range. And there's a whole bunch more little seeds that we've either just launched or are going to launch in the future. So in 2021, when we went public, it felt to me like we were much more fragile than today. I mean, product velocity was a little bit gummed up with all the work that we did to deliver for that scale that we saw during COVID. But now, the roadmap, if you look at things that we expect to deliver in the short term, medium term, and long term initiatives is pretty packed. So this is probably the least diversified you should ever see Robinhood.
All right. Next question from Gautam Chigani from Bernstein.
That was it. Just one YouTuber. Why didn't I do on this? I should have done this.
But obviously, there's a regulatory path in the US to make tokenization, particularly equity tokenization, relevant for US. How do you see that playing out when it comes to regulatory approval for equity tokenization, particularly in view of the comments that came from the SEC post your event?
Yeah. So I think that tokenization in the US is interesting. If you think about the relative delta between the tokenized equities experience and untokenized, which we've already built to scale here in this market, you get 24/7 versus 24/5. You get some access to self-custody and all the benefits of on-chain, which could mean things like collateralized lending and borrowing, which are a nice benefit, but we already have industry-leading margin rates. And then you have sort of the cost aspects. Obviously, if more and more of the infrastructure goes from
Look at that.
Centralized legacy counterparties to blockchain, where it's essentially public infrastructure, the cost of operating the business would go down, which would accrue eventually to customers in the form of more value. So I think the opportunity, there are benefits, but we're already offering customers very, very close to sort of what they would get in the US. Overseas, a lot of customers don't even have access to US equities. So we think that we're going from zero to a great experience that we can scale globally to not just hundreds of millions, but potentially billions in addressable market over the coming years as it gets more widespread. So I think it's different. And in the same way, stable coins among retail have been largely an ex-US phenomenon. And of course, they're coming into the US, but the US already has the benefit of pretty robust payment and banking systems. I think the real opportunity in the US would be tokenizing assets that were previously inaccessible. And I think we're working with regulators to make that possible. I think those are private markets and related real world assets are opportunities that don't exist up until now. So some things need to happen. We need to look at accreditation laws. We also are on a good path with securities tokenization, but that has to continue, and we think we can unlock that opportunity.
All right. The next question is from Devin Ryan from Citizens.
Thanks so much. Hi, Vlad. Hi, Jason. Excellent results. would love to ask one on tokenization, but I'll ask something different here. SEC lending really ramping nicely, 54 million. In June alone, I think it was up 160% year over year, becoming actually a material revenue line item. And historically, we've seen that kind of ramp as capital markets turn back on and IPOs and hard to borrows kind of accelerate. So can you maybe frame out how you're thinking about the opportunity there? Is the book today so much bigger? The IPO market is literally just turning on, so it would seem like there's potential acceleration there. So is that June number a jumping off point if IPOs continue, or how should we think about that?
Yeah, great question. June was a record, and July is equally as strong, if not stronger. There are definitely strong market backdrops. First of all, great job by our securities lending desk. I thought the team did a really nice job. We've been onboarding a lot of customers. Customers have been adding a lot of assets into our fully paid program. At the same time, our margin book is growing, and that creates inventory for the SEC lending desk as well. With the market backdrop, what I'd say is that there were a handful of hard to borrows that had attractive returns in the quarter as well. So that continued into July, as I mentioned. We'll have to see, how that goes, for the rest of the quarter and beyond. But I really love the strong inputs of adding customers, a growing book, adding assets into the fully paid program as well.
All right. Our next question is from Alex Markgraf from KeyBank.
Thanks for taking my question, Jason. Maybe on crypto monetization. Thank you for the Bitstamp disclosure, but just on the core Robinhood monetization, can you talk a little bit about what you saw in the quarter and any effects you're seeing from smart exchange routing so far?
Yeah, so just as a reminder, so customers have two ways to engage with crypto trading at Robinhood. First is the method that we've had for a long time, which is a market maker method. That's where we get a rebate. We've been experimenting with pricing for some time, and you've seen us taking that up, and we watch closely to make sure customers are continuing to get a great deal. Just last week, we moved the rebate rate to 85 bips.
Everybody who owns the S&P 500
the second way that customers
Meta.
can engage is direct with the exchange
Just
through the
thought
smart
I'd
exchange
say
router,
that.
and that's really opening a volume tier discount.
We all own
and
it. I
based
love
on volume, traders can achieve a 10 basis point commission on direct to exchange trading. And so far, it's early, but we like what we're seeing there. Customers are bringing, as they adopt direct to exchange, they're bringing more volume, and they're achieving more competitive rates, which is great. And we want Robinhood to be super attractive to high volume traders. But what's great to see also is that revenue per trader is going up for those that are choosing to engage with the exchange. So more revenue on the higher volume trading as well, even though it's a better rate. So that's what we're seeing so far. In Q2, we saw the blended rate or the average rate at 58 basis points in the quarter. In July, through the month of July, it was kind of in the mid-60s. So it has moved up a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Jason. We're now going to branch out to the audio queue. And so the first question we have on the line is from Patrick Moley at Piper Sandler.
Yes, good evening. Thanks for taking the question. So I just had one on the credit card offering. You noted that you've tripled the number of card holders year to date, but I think balances are only up about 45%. So I was hoping you could just elaborate on what you're seeing from credit card holders. Are you seeing, the economics that you'd like there, and how should we think about you ramping that into the end of the year? I think you said that you plan to accelerate the rollout, so any additional color there would be greatly appreciated. Thanks.
Yeah, we like what we're seeing on the economics. We've been meeting with the team regularly. When we look at the revolve rate, that's in line with what we would hope for, and the book is performing really well at this early stage. We're gaining confidence and looking forward to putting that in the hands of more and more of our customers.
Yeah, and I would just add that if your question about balances, it usually takes balances a little bit of time to increase on the revolve. So it's not like if you increase cardholders by 3x, the balances don't immediately increase by 3x. There tends to be a little bit of a lag. So that's why you're seeing that.
All right. The next question is from James Yarrow at Goldman.
Thanks for taking the question. Maybe could you just perhaps preview a bit more on the Robinhood chain? Maybe you could just talk about the advantages of building this for real world assets, and then maybe just competitive advantages here versus other layer 2 blockchains, and then finally just any update on timing.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, since our event, we've just gotten lots and lots of calls for developers that either want to tokenize the shares of their own companies or otherwise jump on the tokenization of real world assets revolution and partner with us. I think the big advantage that we have with the Robinhood chain is that we have a captive audience of over 25 million customers in the US with now, over $1 trillion in assets under custody. So obviously we think that we can build a great developer ecosystem and we want to be great for developers, but that level of end user adoption and the user base that trusts us with so many of their assets, I think are going to be very, very difficult for others to replicate. So we think that gives us a big advantage, and also nobody's really going after the specific.
You didn't miss Meta if you own the S&P 500. Hits the top in the top 5.
Degen traders.
Don't worry, you've got it.
I think the opportunity for real world assets and the unique characteristics that they have to be put on chain is a bit of a unique one that I don't think anyone else is tackling as directly.
All right. Thank you, Vlad. The next question is from Brian Bedell at Deutsche Bank.
Great. Thanks. Good afternoon, guys. Just a question on the $100 million businesses. You're expanding that. Nice to see the traction moving up from 9 businesses. I think you mentioned, Vlad, there are at least a couple businesses now in the $50 million range. If you could just elaborate on those. And then 2 ones that are nascent, still staking and the tokenized stocks in Europe. Any sense of when you think those businesses on our annualized revenue run rate could get to say that roughly 50 million marker? Is that a year or 2 or longer term?
Yeah, I'll start, Vlad, and you can fill in. There are several that are moving really up on the revenue run rate. I mean, you've got Trade PMR and Bitstamp. You've got prediction markets scaling really well. And you've got a number of others that are coming up behind it, whether it's index options, and
like the Robinhood Gold Card.
The Robinhood Gold Card. I was going to say Legend as well. So there's a number of vectors there that are just gaining a lot of steam.
All right. The next question is from Craig Siegenthaler at Bank of America.
Bank of America.
Hey, good afternoon, Vlad and Jason. Hope everyone's doing well, and I wish you'd be joining you there live. But I wanted to start with tokenized stocks. So one of your competitors also launched a tokenized stock product in Europe just this week, although their structure is different. And your launch is also structured under 3 phases. So I know there'll be progress ahead too. But if you take a step back, how do you think about the advantages with your SPV contract model and your end goal of running on Bitstamp rails versus the ERC20 tokens, which are backed by shares?
Yeah. I think one of the advantages of our offering, and again, it is going to progress in 3 different stages. We're in kind of stage 1 right now. But the advantage is every transaction, every mint and burn of a token has a corresponding transaction in the traditional market. So what that means is you minimize the risk of depeggings where you're trading an asset that's at a wildly different price than the traditional asset. I think that's a big thing because in order for customers to gain confidence with the technology and the experience, they have to get a really good price. And so the system was designed for that. And in phase one, as the supply of the tokens increases, we can build that up by creating a pretty close tie with the traditional markets. Now, phase two, which we anticipate getting into in the coming months, would be getting the tokens to trade on Bitstamp, and that will unlock 24/7 trading. So we're at 24/5 right now, which matches the U.S. market, but 24/7 would be unlocked when Bitstamp comes online with the stock tokens. And basically there you'll have the best of both worlds. When we have access to the traditional markets, we'll be able to match or beat the price there. And if the traditional markets are closed, like Saturdays and Sundays or holidays, you'll still be able to transact. And then there's phase three, which we unlock the full power of DeFi, and you'll be able to hold them non-custodially and transact on chain. And you know, we have the technical capabilities to do all of this. It's just a question of going through the regulatory process. And we think that's basically the optimal path to getting customer adoption and, you know, counterparty adoption to these products in a way that's usable for the end users.
Thank you, Vlad. And even without the chalkboard, I can follow that. All right. The next question is from Ben Budish at Barclays.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for taking the question. I wanted to follow up on some of the earlier discussion and maybe some of the answers to the last question on what you see as the benefits of tokenized equities. I'm curious, just given some of your disclosures around the fee model and the potential spreads that traders in Europe may incur for tokenized equities, you know, versus sort of your you know, model of offering a very low-cost, all-in service. How do you think about ensuring that, you know, execution costs stay low, spreads are tight? What are you guys doing to sort of ensure that, or how are you thinking about, you know, ensuring that sort of level of execution and keeping it consistent, perhaps, with what you see in your equities business elsewhere? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take that one again. So actually, if you look at the early feedback from our European offering, by and large, or I should say, far and away, the number one piece of feedback is they love the prices and the value on stock tokens. The prices are very competitive. The only fee that customers incur when they trade stock tokens in Europe is the 10 basis point foreign transaction fee, which is very, very competitive. So there's no other spread that Robinhood benefits from economically. And the aim is to pass back the full value, again, outside of the foreign exchange transaction fee, which is very competitive to our peers. So we think it's a great offering, great economics. We can scale it, and so far customers seem to be loving it.
All right. The next question is from John Todaro at Needham.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear.
Great. So congrats on the quarter, phenomenal quarter. I guess just kind of coming back on some of the earlier questions, but the tokenized stocks, does it eventually invite a world where we see fee compression in crypto? You know, we've historically haven't really seen that, but I guess if we see tokenized stocks kind of have similar pricing to equity markets, does crypto kind of eventually follow in that? It's just obviously another asset that's tokenized.
Interesting question. I don't think that we're likely to see any impact on spot crypto prices merely because of the presence of tokenized securities. I don't know if you have a different view, but I mean, Robinhood has been offering in the US market spot crypto alongside traditional equities and options, and we just don't feel like there's much of a connection between how customers are even thinking about pricing in these various asset classes. So I don't know if there's anything that would fundamentally change with tokenization. I don't expect it to. I think at the end of the day, the customer just thinks of it as getting exposure to the asset and the underlying mechanism or technology, they don't really want to know about that. I mean, if you can make it feel as simple as possible and hide the blockchain process complexities so they don't have to be a computer scientist to have to understand how everything works, that's what the customer wants. So they're generally agnostic about what's powering it behind the scenes, as long as it works and it gives them the exposure that they're looking for.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And just looking at some analogies, like the pricing is different for index options versus futures versus equities versus options. So I think that there's room for each asset class to kind of stand on its own from a pricing perspective.
And our goal is to be competitive and give customers great value across the board, so that we continue to grow our market share, and not just among casual traders and investors, but also the advanced traders that tend to be a little bit more price sensitive.
All right. The next question is from Brett Knobloch at Cantor Fitzgerald.
Hi guys, thanks for taking my question. Maybe just on staking, quite impressive you guys have kind of reached 750 million within a month. Curious what percentage of kind of crypto assets are currently being staked, and how are you thinking about kind of growing that over time?
Yeah, we've got about $6 billion of stakeable assets. The majority of those are in states where it's allowed. So, customers have, really responded quickly to the opportunity. And I think the opportunity more broadly is to continue to win market share in the crypto space.
Awesome. And then just on crypto pricing, looks like another kind of quarter where take rate kind of ticked up a bit. Could you maybe just talk about the pace of those maybe pricing gains that you guys have been taking, and how we should expect that over the next few quarters?
Yeah, I think we're in a place where we like the pricing and we'll settle in for a little while. We're continuing to experiment, but we feel pretty good where we're at the moment.
All right, thank you. The next question is from Kyle Voigt at KBW.
Hey, good evening, everyone. So, Vlad, you've executed on a number of bolt-on deals over the past couple of years, including Bitstamp, X1, Trade PMR, which have all gotten you new product capabilities or helped to expand your geographic reach. I guess when you take a step back and think about the platform as it exists today, do you still think there are opportunities for bolt-ons to add on new product capability and accelerate geographic expansion, or have you filled most of those obvious product holes? And in terms of the size of deals, you have a valuable currency now, but would you be comfortable executing on larger scale M&A going forward versus the smaller bolt-ons we've seen over the past couple of years?
Yeah. I mean, happy to take a stab at that, and Jason, feel free to jump in. Our corp dev team has been actively looking at opportunities continuously, and we have a very strong team, very disciplined team. They take a look and they want to make sure that they're executing on our strategy, where with every deal we not only get a team that we believe can help us and is aligned with us, but that we get significant acceleration, 18-month acceleration at minimum over building ourselves. So even though we tend to bias towards building in-house, we've certainly made a number of acquisitions, the Trade PMR, X1, Bitstamp you mentioned, but also WonderFi, which gets us access to a scaled user base in the Canadian market. So we remain excited about that one. Certainly, with the change in market cap over the past year, I think that opens up more opportunities for us. I mean, the Bitstamp one was a significant deal back when we entered into it over a year ago. But we're still going to be disciplined and make sure that we follow the playbook, and that every company that we would acquire gives us acceleration, a great team with great DNA, and really makes sense with the thesis of building the #1 global financial ecosystem.
Yeah, the only thing, I would reiterate the disciplined approach. We feel like we've done a really nice job of selecting companies that accelerate, our roadmap, but also are a great deal for shareholders, and we'll continue to be disciplined from that perspective. It's really just a broader question about capital allocation, and we've been allocating capital to grow organically. You see that with a lot of the new product announcements that we've made. We've been doing that through M&A as well. And look, our roadmap is full, and we're always looking for ways to accelerate. I do tend to like smaller, more efficient businesses that we can take and run with, but we're always looking.
All right, thank you. The next question is from Matt O'Neill at FT Partners.
Hey there, this is Zach Gunn on for Matt. I just wanted to ask on Gold subscribers. So it continues to grow, and it's at a 13% adoption rate. My question is how should we think about the upper bound of that, or kind of a target of what you're trying to get to over the medium term? And just what are the main gatekeeping factors that are limiting growth in that Gold subscriber number? And then just lastly, how should we think about the cadence of the growth there? You're doing 500,000, I think, in ads the last 2 quarters. It stepped down a little bit this quarter. So just curious about how we should think about that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start, Vlad, and please feel free to jump in. We want it to be obvious that if you're a Robinhood customer, you're a Gold customer. And so we continue to, broaden the value proposition. And we're seeing customers respond. Really nice growth rate. Vlad mentioned in his prepared remarks that new customers are joining at multiples the rate. I think it was 35% of our Q2 new customers joined Gold. In terms of upper bounds, one of the things that we like to do is benchmark, and some of the best subscription products out there, whether it's Amazon or others, are substantially higher than where we're at today, and it inspires us as an opportunity to keep investing in the program, and then continue to work on making sure customers are aware of the value proposition. And I'm personally really excited about the banking product that's about to come out, and that'll be another great addition to the Gold proposition.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add is you should think about Gold as if you're a Gold member, then you're a member of a really high quality, exclusive financial club, but it's also available to everyone. So we're trying to toe the line between it being premium, but also accessible to the mass market. And I don't think very many people can toe that line. I think it's been working very, very well. And a couple of the products that are very, very nascent are ones that we're very excited about. Jason mentioned banking. We also have the Gold card. Cortex has gotten amazing reviews in its first iteration. That's a Gold-only offering, and we're just going to keep iterating on that and making that better and better. So I think we see tons of tailwinds to continuing to make Gold better and making the subscriber account increase as a result of that.
Yeah, at $5 a month, Robinhood Gold is just the best deal in finance. So if you're not a Gold member, jump on that.
All right. The next question is from Ken Worthington at JP Morgan.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for taking the question here. Wanted to talk about the build out of the active trader, furthering your comments in the prepared remarks. How are the ranks of the active traders building? Like, it's a great market to make, people are making money. It's a great market to build this sort of active trader base. So how is that going? And then in terms of transfer of assets, you're positive or have been positive against all the major brokerage competition. Is Robinhood TOA positive in the same way with the active trader client as well? Or is there any sort of differences between sort of money coming in and money going out in that particular segment?
Yeah, we don't have a breakdown available in that way, but we can share that we're positive again this quarter against all of the major competitors. And we kind of track progress on the active trader arc of our business by looking at market share across all traded assets, equities, options, futures now, prediction markets, and of course crypto. And it's like growing really nicely across the board. So we really like what we're seeing. Of course, that's somewhat of a lagging indicator because new products lead to greater market share, but the leading indicators are the product velocity. And we've been doing really well with a number of things thus far this year. And we haven't even had Hood Summit, which is our active trader event. That's in a few weeks. And we're going to be unveiling even more that we're excited about. So I would say looking backward, market share, which is sort of like how we track progress, very strong. Medium term, we've had things with Legend that we're very, very positive on, and the things that are about to come, I think you'll see in a couple of weeks, but I think you guys are really going to like them.
Another metric that we track internally is Net Promoter Score, and we've been seeing that move up overall, but also with our active traders. And we're reaching levels that's like a high water mark over the last 4+ years. So feeling really good about that, and it's also tends to be a leading indicator for increased market share over time.
Yeah, and it's great you mentioned that. I mean that's a big part of why we're confident in the business. We're looking at how happy our customers are. Customers keep getting happier, and we've seen in the past that leads to them growing their wallet share with us, putting more assets into Robinhood, becoming gold subscribers at an increasing rate, adopting our products. So we think we still see significant tailwinds to that.
All right, thank you. The next question is from Mike Cypress at Morgan Stanley.
Great, thanks for taking the question. Maybe just following up on the active trader commentary there, just hoping you could elaborate a little bit on what sort of uptake you're seeing with Legend, how that's contributing on 24/5. I guess how much of your volume are you seeing in the overnight session? And then on prediction markets, if maybe you could just elaborate on the success there and what sort of mix you're seeing between sports and other types of contracts.
Maybe I'll start on prediction markets and then you can chat about Legend. So prediction markets is cumulative now at about 2 billion contracts. We were nearly 1 billion in the quarter. In terms of the mix, since we launched, customers have engaged in over 100 million economic contracts, so really nice. A large percentage of the transactions in prediction markets are with sports, and we love to see our customers engage in that way as well. I think, over time, what you're going to see is we'll continue to, add selection across, all elements of, culture, whether it's things that would be on the front page to the business section to the sports page. And I think we can tell by the engagement by customers that it's a product that is resonating.
Yeah, and I would tell you, a good chunk of it is sports, but we've also been focused on that because that's an area where not a lot of our competitors are present. So we see that as a big opportunity, and we've been investing. But we've also been building the capability to list lots of different types of contracts, and we anticipate broadening the suite to multiple categories. On Robinhood Legend, volumes continue to grow nicely overnight as well. We don't have specific numbers to share there, but everything's looking very positive, and we like what we're seeing.
And it's great. We keep getting
Sean,
feedback
you
from
enter the
customers.
giveaway
The team's hard at
yourself.
work,
I
and
can't
they're literally
enter you.
rolling out improvements.
You
week
enter
over
it
week.
yourself.
So,
let me give you the
a
link.
lot of momentum there and improving the product experience.
All right. Since this is our last, we've now gotten through the audio queue, and since we are here in person, I think we have time for a couple more in-person questions. If anybody has any other questions they'd like to ask. All right, Steven Schubach, who started us off.
Here is the giveaway competition
so maybe
page.
Going back to the pricing discussion, you guys have done a really nice job of demonstrating the value prop. You've been able to increase price or take rate on crypto without seeing any meaningful impact in terms of market share. In fact, it's been reflecting steady market share gains.
Yeah.
We know that some of your larger competitors are going to be entering the crypto trading space, maybe not necessarily with as broad or robust of an offering, but wanted to get your perspective on how much to what extent you can protect that pricing advantage as the Schwabs and Morgan Stanley with E-Trade, via E-Trade, actually look to enter this space as well.
Maybe I'll try the crypto pricing this time. So a couple of things. One is you mentioned the market share gains in crypto. I think that maybe one thing that hasn't really been talked about very much is the rollout of smart exchange routing and what that does with tiered pricing for high volume traders. I mean, frankly, before we rolled that out, if you were a high volume trader trading, tens of millions of dollars in notional a month, our offering wasn't very competitive for you because you were getting great advanced pricing elsewhere. And so our offering was too expensive for these customers. And I think we've done a good job in addressing that. Of course, smart exchange routing continues to be adopted, but we think that now we have a competitive offering for customers trading higher volume. And as you see more and more Bitstamp integration, as we continue to bring that onto the fold, the experience for a crypto high volume trader will become even better on Robinhood. So, a lot of these gains that you've seen are without us actually fully serving the active traders on the crypto side. In terms of, so I think we feel good, and I think the numbers will speak for themselves there. In terms of large, I think you're referring to incumbent brokerage competitors getting into crypto. I mean, I don't know, we've been hearing that question for quarters, and they still haven't gotten into crypto. So I don't know how long it's going to take. I tend to not really worry about competitors unless they have a product in market that's actually beating us. And I just think we're going to continue to move ahead. We've added staking now. We're sort of like continuing to add assets and different blockchains across the board. I know we added some new ones last week. And I think the velocity of the crypto team's been really, really good. So again, tend not to worry about competitors until they actually have products in market that are beating our products.
Yeah, and I think the point that Vlad is making that I'd reiterate is that in crypto, pace of innovation is a competitive advantage, and I see Johan here. He and his team, I would bet on they're moving at an incredible pace as we demonstrated at the To Catch a Token event.
All right, we got one last question. So Devin Ryan from Citizens.
Thanks for letting me wrap it up here. So Jason, a lot of credit for the expense management here, because you did 56% adjusted EBITDA margins in the quarter is pretty amazing given the level of growth you guys are putting up. So I know you've committed to this kind of theme of driving, and revenues can bounce around, but this theme of driving kind of faster top line growth than expense growth. But as we start to kind of look ahead, and maybe not to get too far ahead of ourselves for 2026, but just talk about the relationship and the commitment to continuing to drive kind of top line faster than expenses, especially with all the initiatives you guys have underway. And I'm sure there's no lack of areas to spend money on. So just the relationship, and maybe also areas where you're finding to save some money to then reinvest back into growth. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll just kind of tell you how we think about it more generally. We have a large business, and large businesses present opportunities to be more efficient, more productive. And so when we think about deploying capital for organic growth, what we do is we look at our existing businesses and ask them to improve process and use technology so that their cost growth stays in the low single digits. And in some cases, our GMs would assert that we've asked them to actually decrease costs. And there's a lot of opportunity. I'm sure talk a lot about AI and just process improvement more generally. And we've done a really nice job of being able to grow those existing businesses, but do it in a way that's costs are growing at a very slow percentage. And so that's a big part of our business that's growing at a really small percentage. And what that does is it frees up the incremental dollars to put in areas that drive growth, whether that's new business initiatives or it's things like marketing. And we love marketing, and we're constantly debating about putting more marketing dollars to work because the ROIs are so good and the payback is so short. So what I tell you is, even though we're delivering such incredible leverage on the business, the debates inside the company aren't, come on, Jason, like loosen up on the purse strings. It's really been focused on finding ways to be more efficient, and it frees up a lot of capital and a lot of costs that we can then deploy into other areas. And that's not to say that we don't have these debates and periodically add 5 headcount here or 2 headcount there, but it isn't a situation where we're choking the business, and I think you can see that with the growth that we're able to deliver. So I'm not always the most popular person in the room, and Shiv, who's here with me, is probably even more so because I make him say no more than I do. But
incredibly unpopular.
Incredibly, but I'll tell you, we have a DNA at the company, and it's in our culture to be lean and disciplined, and I think it's really showing up in our results.
I would also just add that two of the areas that have just been critical to our business, sustaining the rate of innovation and kind of customer adoption of our products, have been engineering and customer service. And both of those areas are probably like very, very, I mean, we've invested early and aggressively in using AI for both of those, and it's having tremendous results. I mean, I would venture to say we're world-class across both of those, and of course other areas as well, and we're looking at everything, but those are the two that like really move the needle for our business. I think that's why we've been able to demonstrate, I mean, that's a big part of why we've been able to demonstrate this growth while keeping, OpEx relatively flat, up a little bit.
All right, that concludes the Q&A of our call. Vlad, any closing remarks?
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys for listening, and to not just our retail shareholders, but institutional analysts, the finance content creators in this room, for the engagement. Really hope this was informative, but also fun, and yeah, maybe we'll do it again. Thank you again. And watch out for Hood Summit in Las Vegas in the next few weeks. So we're not slowing down. The innovation will continue.
Thanks so much.
There we go. Fantastic. Let's wrap that up. Awesome stuff. Another great earnings call from Robinhood. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm just going to let you know what was happening throughout that call. Robinhood is now just taking profit. That's perfectly normal. I was looking at the results more closely for Meta and Microsoft. Absolutely insane numbers. So even though we picked up throughout there, the S&P, particularly VU, is slightly slow to take advantage of that. I bought some more. So I bought another 10 shares down there and 10 shares up there. So I averaged it out. I bought another 10 shares. So that's 20 shares today. So that's $10,000 today. Quite a lot, because I think we're going to see this rally even further. So those businesses haven't yet been affected, hasn't been fully absorbed into the S&P. Let's just put it that way. So even if we do have a sellback, it's just too good. It's too good to go down for long. It will go down, there'll be some trimming, but then it will go up again, and I don't want to miss out on that. So that was a really good return tonight from Meta and Microsoft. And the two of them are 10% of the S&P. And if they've performed well, so is Nvidia. So we're gonna have a rally. We're gonna have a face-ripping rally. So I've just bought more before Nvidia report. That's going to be coming up shortly. So my current Roth IRA trade is a little bit lacking. The S&P is carried on going. Coca-Cola has gone down. That's what happens. But what will happen is overnight and by tomorrow at some point, people will take profits out of VU, out of the S&P 500, all this rallying going on, and they'll buy defensives. It's what will happen. So don't expect this to last forever. So as soon as we can see my S&P go down on my Roth IRA, I won't be bothered if it goes down on my main account. I'll just let it go. It's fine. It's going to go up again. But as soon as it does, it will go into Coca-Cola, as we are only 3 weeks away from those record-breaking dividends. For me, it's about $400. So it's worth me just waiting. Sometimes you have to accept that it's not going to work out, but there's no need for that. There's no need for that. It will pull back. You will get the S&P pull back. It will go into Coca-Cola. Then I'll be able to get to a wash. Even if it's just a wash, I could sell that if Vu gives me enough to buy back. If not, I'll wait for 3 weeks and we'll get there eventually. But that trade might take a while to get to, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Coca-Cola is also a great business, and there's nothing wrong with having a defensive position on my Roth IRA with a more aggressive tech-led S&P right now on my main account. So either way, we're going to win. We're going to pick up $400 anyway. So it's a win-win whichever way around it goes. So I'm happy with that. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me wrap this up. There's my Roth IRA, just down a little bit, but overall, again, it's neither here nor there. All right, my main account is loving it, loving it, loving it. All right, that's it from me. I'm now going to send you all over to the extra channel. Make sure it's set. It is. I did it earlier. Customization. Yep, there it is. That's it. Of course, today was our giveaway. $1,000 giveaway. Gave a lot of tickets away. 100 tickets. If you've not entered yet, you've got the Robinhood piece in the newsletter. You can win free tickets to enter the draw by signing up for the newsletter. Even the free plan. There's no purchase necessary. It doesn't cost any money to be part of our giveaway at all. So there you go. Go and sign up for free and you get free tickets. If you want to go directly to the competition page, here is the $1,000 XRP giveaway. There it is, martynlucas.com/giveaway. There it is. Go and take part in that. I can tell you now, only 5 people have done all the entries, so you've got a good chance of winning. That's it from me. Getting a storm. Have a blessed night. Thank you, Kimberly. Be safe. Thank you, Martyn. Cheers. Donda, you're welcome. Thanks for covering the earnings. You're welcome. Smile, Martyn. You're on candid camera. There you go. Vanessa, always nice to have you here. Huge thanks, Martyn, for being our go-to simple source of information. You're very, very welcome. Take care of yourselves. That's it. I am done. I'll send you now to the extra channel. Please let that run in the background. Even if you don't want to catch up on today's shows, we replay for you what you've missed. Even if you don't want to engage, let it run in the background. You can mute it. It supports the channel and provides 24-hour service. You can always talk to somebody. There's always somebody in the chat, and I pop in all the time as well on the extra channel. So the extra channel runs 24 hours a day, replaying the streams that you've seen this morning. As you can see, this is the extra channel now, replaying what you've missed, and in the chat, we are there providing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, live support. Remember, it's a separate channel. It's 99 cents. That's all it costs if you want to be part of the chat, or you can watch and listen for free. But the purpose of the channel is to talk to people 24/7 live on the shows that you miss, because other people will tune in at different times of the day. That's the purpose of the extra channel. All right, that's it from me. Good night, Martyn. Good night, Mark. Good night, all. And I'm out of it. Let me clear the deck. Do this. I'll see you back in the morning. Tomorrow is the 31st. What have we got tomorrow? What do we have tomorrow? Let me just clear that. Let's have a look. Tomorrow we have FOMC into Archer, into Hood. Yes, we covered that with Vaz. There you go. Vaz is going live right after my opening bell show in the morning, which is nice to see. Doing a preparation for vertical aerospace. That'll be cool. We've got no earnings book. Oh, we have one earnings book tomorrow night. We have MicroStrategy booked after hours tomorrow night. We've got no Amazon booked, no Apple booked. We can do 2 at once, but only MicroStrategy is booked. That's it. Gonna have a great green day tomorrow. I think so. So I just bought that, even though it was at the high. Don't care. That was a good call. So there we go. There's my live, my day, my week. We're going to go up to a high on the week with those reports. So that's why I was happy to buy that. We've dipped below the week. So we're going up the week, the month, the 3 month, the 1 year, the all. Yep, there you go. That's good. The only thing lacking is the crypto, but that's because we didn't get a rate cut. It's not cheap enough to buy anymore. And the Roth IRA is just down because we're currently in Coca-Cola. But the money that we've lost, if we look, we're down 200, 376. We're going to get all that back on the dividend, and we're going to get it back. So we're going to make the money back. There's more left in Coca-Cola than there is in the S&P. There's 15% in Coca-Cola this year. There's not 15% in the S&P. So you're still right to be in Coca-Cola. I'm still happy with that decision. Absolutely right. 100%. Sometimes you got to walk away and accept a loss, but there's no need in this case. Looking forward to MicroStrategy. Yes, 10 a.m. Vaz is here straight after the opening bell. You've got another show from Vaz. Vaz did a record-breaking show tonight. I want to thank Vaz. He had... Vaz... I'm going to tell you now what your numbers were. You did Archer Aviation, prepare for the earnings, 878. 878 in the first hour and a half. So there you go. Pretty good. Vaz, great result today. Absolutely awesome. In fact, it's been a really record day. We've our highest we've ever had over 48 hours is 100,000. We're at 70,460. We're nearly a record over 48 hours. And we've got much more to come. So we're probably going to hit a record. Subscriber-wise, we got to 93,365. That's good. That's an all-time high as well. So that's great. Our portfolio is near an all-time high. 263 was the all-time high, and we're just off that. Look, so close because of the Roth IRA down. So we're nearly at an all-time high on there as well, which was only set today. So as soon as that comes back, we certainly will be. That's it. Thank you, everyone, for joining. He loved it. Yes, Vaz did a great job, and I was really impressed because everyone stayed as well all the way through. It was really great. 16591 average MicroStrategy, one of every first stocks I got back in 24. Congratulations. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you very much indeed. I'll see you back in the morning. Sensei's breakfast show, followed by the main show and the big show, and then of course we've got Vaz doing the vertical aerospace. And then in the afternoon, closing bell, followed by MicroStrategy earnings. Oh, you know what that's like. We'll be listening to Michael Saylor, and everybody will be like, I haven't got a clue what he's talking about. I can guarantee you that. All right, that's it from me. Thank you very much indeed. Have a wonderful evening. See you back in the morning. As always, until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Ta-ra.